So it's the end of the night. You're finally home. Your shoes are off. House is quiet. Maybe the TV is on low. Maybe you're answering one last text before you go to bed. Then you hear it. A hard knock at your front door. Not the kind that the friends make, not the kind that your neighbors make, not the kind that the delivery driver makes when they're delivering your Amazon packages. This is the kind that makes your whole body tense up. You look through the peephole, and there they are. 2 police officers standing on your porch. No flashing lights, no sirens. They just knocked. Now, one of them leans towards the door and they say a sentence that changes the whole situation. Hey, we need a minute of your time. Now, here's the thing. What you do in the next 30 seconds can decide whether this stays a conversation at your front door or turns into a full-blown search of your home. And you know the mistake that most people make? It is the single biggest gift you can hand law enforcement. They open the door. In over 20 years of defending criminal cases, I have seen one decision, just opening the door, create more damage than almost anything else. Now, by the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly what to say without ever touching that doorknob. And I'm going to give you the actual legal foundation behind it. Hey, free game here. But I'm not just going to tell you to keep the door shut. I'm going to give you the exact script, word for word, that you say through that door. So if you have a pen available, paper available, write this down. The words that protect your home, protect your family, and make the officer's job a whole lot harder. Completely legal, completely calm, and extremely effective. Here's what most people don't understand. Hey, we just need a minute is not casual conversation. I mean, when have you said that to any one of your friends? It is one of the most effective door opening lines law enforcement has. This is called the knock and talk. They train officers on it all the time because it works. They show up to your door without a warrant specifically because they don't have enough to get a warrant, because a judge would have told them no. So instead, they come to your house and hope that you will do a favor for them, and it works almost every time. Why? Because when people see police at the door, their first instinct is to what? Cooperate. Sure, officer, what's going on? Is there a problem? How can I be of assistance? They think that you're being respectful, but here's what's actually happening. The moment you open that door, everything changes. You don't have to say, come inside. Just opening the door wide enough, stepping back, or leaving it open while you grab something, any of that can be interpreted as implied consent. They are trained for that moment. They look forward to that moment. You open the door, you naturally move back, and now they are inside your home. Not because they had a warrant, not because they had probable cause, not because they had any other legal justification, but because you gave them the opening. And I know it's hard to believe, but it gets worse. Even if they stay on the porch, the moment that door opens, everything they see, everything they hear, and everything they smell from that doorway is fair game. They are looking past you and looking right into your house. They are listening to what's going on, and they are paying attention to every single detail. Something on the counter, they're going to see that. Something in the living room, they're going to see that. A sound deeper in that house, they're going to hear that. Now all of it matters. Now all of it becomes evidence, and none of it required a warrant. Why? Because you opened the door, literally and figuratively. Now, think about this from the officer's perspective. The knock and talk is the cheapest investigative tool they have. No warrant application. They don't need to waste time for a warrant. They don't need a judge. They don't need probable cause. They don't need any other legal justification. Just 2 officers on a front porch and hope that you will open the door. And what do? You open the door. And while they are standing there, they're not just waiting, they are watching, they are observing, they are listening, they are smelling. This is a textbook fishing expedition, and your front door is the bait. But here's where it gets very, very interesting, because the law is overwhelmingly on your side, and officers are counting on you never finding that out. You have zero obligation to open your door for police without a warrant. Your home has the highest level of constitutional protection that exists in American law. More than your car, more than your person, your home does. That is why this matters so much. But I know what this feels like in real life. It feels like a trap. You can't open the door. You don't want to ignore them. And you don't want to sound hostile and make things worse. What are you supposed to say? Here are the exact words you need to say. Memorize them. I don't consent to any searches. I'm not going to open the door without a warrant. If you have a warrant, please hold it up to the window. That's the whole thing. Now, let me break down why every part of this works. I don't consent to any searches. This eliminates any argument about consent. You said no, clearly, out loud. I don't know if you understand this, but no is a complete sentence. That's all you need. 2 letters. I'm not going to open the door without a warrant. You say that very, very calm, direct, and completely lawful. You are drawing a boundary. If you have a warrant, please hold it up to the window. This is where it falls apart for them, because if they actually had a warrant, they would not be asking for a minute. No, they would hold that warrant up immediately. They would tell you immediately that they have a warrant. When you ask them to show it, you are calling their bluff. And most of the time, that is when they leave. Now, what if they keep pushing? If they say, hey, we just want to clear something up. Here is your backup line. This is like the backup, the B. If plan A doesn't work, here's plan B. Officer, I've exercised my rights. I do not wish to speak any further. And then stop talking. You're behind a closed door. If they try to claim that there's an emergency, we think something's going on outside, you say this: if there's an emergency, call the appropriate emergency services. I do not consent to entry. Now it is clear. No consent, no confusion whatsoever. If they say, let me come back with a warrant, or we'll come back with a warrant, that means they don't have one. And now they have to do it the right way. Find a judge, write up the affidavit of probable cause, and prove it, instead of standing on your porch hoping that you make a mistake. And what if they force entry anyway? Do not resist. Record everything. Call your attorney, because if they came in without a warrant and without a real emergency, that becomes a serious legal issue, but only if you did not consent. And that is exactly what those 3 sentences protect. Now you know how to handle police at your front door when they do not have a warrant. But here is the problem. Most people don't get this right in the moment. They're flustered. They're nervous. They have anxiety. They open the door. They want to talk. They want to talk when they're nervous. They try to explain. They try to over-explain. And by the time they realize what happened, they think it's over. They think that they are stuck, but they are not, because guilty does not mean what most people think it means in a courtroom. Cases get dismissed every single day, even when the situation looks bad. Bad on paper, bad in the media, bad in the news, bad on social media. Cases get dismissed not because of luck, but because the government still has to prove its case, because mistakes get made, because procedures get violated, because what feels true and what can actually be proven are 2 very different things. So if you're thinking, I've already messed up, it's too late. It's not. It really isn't. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get your case dismissed, even when you think you are guilty. Watch that right now. I'll see you over there.